What's up, YouTube? I'm back again with another video, and today I'm going to be talking about a satellite imaging company that has recently announced that it will be going public via SPAC merger. This company specializes in low Earth orbit small satellites that they plan to launch in clusters called constellations. If you like these types of videos, please remember to hit like and subscribe. I appreciate all the feedback. You guys have been awesome. And without more to say, let's get right into it. The company I'm talking about is BlackSky, a leading real-time geospatial intelligence, imagery, and data analytics company. And they'll be merging with Osprey Technology Acquisition Corp, ticker symbol SFTW. Looking at the 1-month chart, you can see that after the announcement, the SPAC took its expected spike and has sold off to a point that I think might be good enough to start an initial investment. You guys know me, I am not suggesting that you put all your money into any stock, but if you do want to start a position, it's looking pretty good right now. If I'm going to buy a SPAC, I want to get it as close to $10 as I can. SPACs are designed to be sold for $10 until the merger is finalized and tickers are changed and you are officially trading the new company. Another thing with SPACs is you can expect dilution at some point after the merger is finished. Most of the shares are still in the private side and they're held by people who basically own the company before it was ever public. And usually that's their employees and original investors. So without getting deep into it at all, a SPAC is a special purpose acquisition company whose sole purpose is to bring a private company into the stock market. A company might do this because the traditional process, an IPO, initial public offering, can be a process that is filled with headaches, and there's a lot of bureaucracy that goes along with that process. SPACs, on the other hand, are already trading with ticker symbols. This gives a private company a shortcut to basically getting their company on the stock market without having to do any of the work. Now, SPACs go through the same pattern almost every time, and that's they'll start off pre-merger $10, then the merger will be announced, and there will be an initial spike to wherever. That could go up into the 20s or 30s or something. And then usually a couple days later, it'll crash right back down to around $11, $12 again. That initial dip could be the best time to buy when it gets back down to that pre-announcement price. After that stage, the SPAC usually trades a bit sideways until the merger is finalized and the ticker changes. Then usually you see another jump in the share price, followed by another sell-off. So moral of the story is don't go out buying SPACs the day after you hear any news about a merger announcement or mergers being finalized. Do not go out and buy a SPAC that day. That is the worst time. It always spikes and sells off within the next week. So anyways, with that disclaimer out of the way, let's look at BlackSky. BlackSky is a satellite imaging company that specializes in small sats. In their website, they describe what a small sat is, and typically it is any satellite under 500 kilograms in mass. They argue that small sats are significantly more cost-effective than larger spacecraft and easier to produce. They also argue that launching their satellites in constellations, or groups of satellites working together as a system, is enabling new technologies and applications. Small sats usually focus on low Earth orbit, or LEO. Because they're so close to Earth, it provides a handful of advantages, including better positioning for images, better contact for the satellite, and allowing a more straightforward deorbit process, which is the atmospheric drag, which is basically the wind resistance that causes a lot of satellites to burn up on re-entry. One complete low Earth orbit takes about 90 minutes. They get really in depth on different types of orbit and stuff like that. And if you're into that, by all means, check out their website, blacksky.com. They talk a little bit about how artificial intelligence and machine learning is the future. However, they also mention that they are just the ones providing the enormous amounts of data and imagery. As far as I know, they're not actually doing anything with artificial intelligence or machine learning. They're just providing the raw data. Here is a video produced by BlackSky that was just released recently. This might be able to explain a bit more about the overall mission of the company and what they might offer to a potential customer. Okay, that was a little bit vague, but it seems like for big business, this can be used to track progression of a certain project or to check locations of certain vehicles in maybe shipping or heavy construction. Recently, they released an investor presentation. I'll quickly go through it and highlight the things that I find most interesting. So to start off, this kind of goes through the SPAC deal and how it works. The company is valued at $1.1 billion, which they think is a highly attractive valuation. It'll have $450 million in cash to enhance operations. But most importantly, 63% of the shares will still be held by the original investors and Black Sky employees, 12% to the PIPE investors, and 25% for the SPAC holders. So that's us. And that includes the SPAC company themselves, who have already probably picked up their shares. So just keep that in mind. I might not be 100% right about this, but it looks like only 25% of the shares are available to the public as of right now. So that's why I say there's usually dilution. For the beginning of the merger, there is usually a lockup phase where these people cannot sell their shares. But after that time period has expired, these guys can start selling their shares. And that's kind of the whole reason why they are joining the stock exchange, is to be able to sell some of their shares. So, once that lockup period expires, there's a good chance there will be some dilution. Here's Osprey's technology thesis. This is, by the way, and these are all forward-looking statements, meaning that this is what they think is going to happen and what they're hoping for. And, these are not promises of certain expectations. They think there is a $40 billion addressable market. Here's a look at some of the executives of the company, and you can go ahead and read that if you like. Here they split space into two sectors. You have basically your rocket launchers and your companies that are looking to get launched and do business up in space. They put themselves into the latter. Something interesting here is EOS. EOS is a cryptocurrency. I'm not sure why this is on their list, what that has to do with space. So here they show some of their partnerships with customers, including the U.S. Army, the U.S. Air Force, Department of Defense, Defense Innovation Unit, IARPA, U.S. Air Force, National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, and so on. Also, they have customers in the Middle East and Asia, with a contract value potential of $630 million plus just with these customers. Here they're showing their future projections of revenue, profit, and EBITDA. You can see they are showing almost like an exponential growth. And we are only here at the 2020 actual. These E's stand for estimated. So these are not actual numbers. This is where they see themselves. So remember, this is the company telling you where they see themselves. This is not from a third party telling us this. But if what they say does come true, from 22 million in revenue to 546, that is a huge gap up. From an estimated 1 million in profit to 436, a 436% gain in profit by 2025. If they can pull that off, that's great. I like to put a few percent of my portfolio aside for plays like this. Not too much money, but I want to be in there just in case there is a major gap up. I don't want to be losing sleep at night either, worrying about this stock. So just, 1 or 2% max at this point. If things start picking up, maybe I'll add more. So here they kind of compare themselves to their peers. You can see here in the diagram that they kind of see themselves as fitting 3 different circles. Your new space technologies like Momentus, AST, and Virgin. Your data generation. And these companies here might be worth taking a look at. Write them down. But, they're also saying that these legacy space companies are not good investments. At least that's what I'm picking up by looking at this. Here they compared themselves to some of their peers, and I don't really think you can take any of this really seriously because some of these companies haven't really reported anything. One more thing is they have a joint venture with Leo Stella. And, this company does have satellites already up in the sky taking pictures. For example, here is a picture of Port Elizabeth, South Africa, a place that they monitor, and you can see some of the information that can be picked up through these images, like your inventory, how many shipping containers are there, which boats are there. Are they full? Are they empty? Are people getting fueled? What's going on? You can count how many cars are in the parking lot, see who's working. There's a lot of information that can be picked up. And, they say something like, every picture has 1,000 words. If there are programs out there with artificial intelligence that can do all this work for you and maybe cut some man hours out of people physically going out and counting inventory, then, I definitely see a use case for this. Here's another picture that was taken with their satellites, and it's interesting because this is Mecca. Normally this white space would be filled shoulder to shoulder with pilgrims making their journey to Mecca. This image shows just how high quality these pictures are. You can even see the shrine straight in the middle. And I can definitely see this being a very attractive business for smaller countries around the world who don't have access to space, quite like the US or other more developed countries. Anyways, guys, that's all I got for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you enjoyed it, please hit like and subscribe. I appreciate all the feedback. You guys have been awesome. And yeah, I'll catch you on the next one. Stock Surfer signing out.